How's it going, YouTube? Van Damage finally back with another video. I believe it's been a little over a year, maybe more, since the last video I uploaded. I've been quite busy here the last year and a half, 2 years. So let me just tell you what's been going on so you understand why this channel's kind of like... So what was it? 2016, I got out of the military. I had some health issues that were getting in the way of me performing my duties and whatnot. So talking to my doctors and whatnot, we both agreed that it would be detrimental if I were to stay in versus actually getting out. So I got out of the military back in 2016. I moved back to the States, which ended up living with my parents, my dad and my stepmom, for a couple of months, just so I could figure out, do I want to stay here in North Carolina, or do I want to, move back up to Pennsylvania where my little brother's at? What do I want to do? Do I want to go to school? Do I want to get a job? So I took a couple of months looking around, applying to different jobs. Jobs never panned out because, one, it took forever for my DD-214 to come through. And then two, once it did come in, nobody was hiring anymore. So I started going to school at the beginning of last year. While I was in school, because of, I had a head injury in 2013, that's what actually got me out. And because my memory was so bad, I had to spend like 16 hours almost every single day studying my coursework so that I could, pass my classes. Which I did that till May of this year. Then I went and tried getting a job. That did not pan out very well at all. So now I'm going back to school again, and things are going a little bit easier this time. But during that time, I was able to do a couple of builds. Excuse me. I can't do one of these videos without belching. All right, one of my builds was I did a boombox, just because I was bored and I really wanted to do one, and I needed something that I could move from room to room instead of that big-ass boombox. I can't stop belching. But yeah, instead of that big-ass boombox I built a few years ago when I first started doing these. So I built a smaller one that I could move from room to room while I was cleaning. And I'll show you. It's just a very simple, basic one. As you can see, I put 5 1/4 inch speakers on it. This is what came out of my car whenever I left Japan. So I put 5 1/4 speakers in it. I got a 20-watt amp in here, Bluetooth board, and 1 battery. So I mean, you can see here, it's nothing impressive. Amp in the middle, Bluetooth board on the left, battery on the bottom left as well. Eventually, I'm going to add another battery to it. But yeah, it's a simple build. If you've watched any of my other videos, you know how this is done. There's nothing to it. If you guys have questions, you can ask them here, or check out my previous videos where I go into excruciating detail on how to do these. Yeah, so that's the boombox I built. Now, the last video I did upload a few months back, about a year and some change ago. I did a Gameboy Zero build, which you can kind of see what I'm talking about here in the corner. I had all sorts of problems with it, like nothing fit in there. Some of the screws got stripped out because there was just so much pressure so much pressure pushing out from everything being crammed in there, that I had to, it wasn't working the way it should have been working. So I rebuilt it, and I built this guy here. Now, before anybody has a heart attack, I bought this as an empty shell on eBay. That means there was no electronics in it. There was no Game Boy was actually damaged in the process of building it. The only thing that's from an old Game Boy is this back cover here. That's because I can't remember what it was. I think I built a Game Boy, or I helped refurbish somebody's Game Boy, and I needed to, what was it? I had to order a second one to help fix it, and there was some spare parts left over, so I took the old backing off of that one and put it on here just so that I'd have something covering the power distribution center here. As you can see, there is a game case in here. That's not it. Don't worry, I didn't destroy a game either. You can buy these shells empty on eBay as well. I actually had a guy in England. See if you can, yeah, you can kind of see it says Nintendo Zero there. I got him to print off a bunch of stickers for it, so it would look like it was a a Game Boy game, but it's not. In here, the battery is where the battery sits. Managed to get it stuffed in there. It worked out perfectly. Freed up a ton of space inside. Nothing is crammed in there. Everything has plenty of room. The heat distribution is much better. The Game Boy, the Raspberry Pi Zero inside runs a lot better in this one as opposed to the other one, just for the simple fact that it's not heating up near as much as the other one is because there's a little bit more space for it to breathe. As you can see, it's got a color screen as well. That came out of a GPS system. You can buy the screens separate from the unit. So whenever I bought it, I went online and you kept finding the GPS that everybody kept talking about, but the problem was you could either wind up with, with a monitor board that's about that big, or you could wind up with one that big, which just doesn't work inside the Game Boy case. So I found one where you could buy it and then you could see the size of the computer board you were getting, and that seemed to work out tremendously. So that's what I ended up getting. Inside here, there's also a controller board. There have been some people that have been doing these for quite some time, and they designed some computer boards that can go inside of it. Let me see if I can, yeah, there we go. See if I kind of see what I'm doing here. But yeah, so they built those, so all you had to do is wire it, through the GPIO pins directly to the Raspberry Pi. And then you had to do a little bit of programming, which I did, and get it working. You can kind of hear it going on there. Yeah, so that's what I did. This is Super Mario RPG. And before anybody, because there's always that one genius. I actually have a hard copy of it. No, I'm not going to go grab it right now because it's on the other side of my house. Yeah, I did buy a house. That's why I'm sitting in my personal house. Now, anybody who's played this game before using an emulator on your computer, you know that Super Mario, it is not one of the best games to play on an emulator, just because during combat phases it kind of freezes up and it skips a little bit and the emulators just can't run it properly. Well, the Raspberry Pi, so far, is the only thing that I've found where the emulator plays the game just as smooth as the Super Nintendo did back in the 90s whenever this game came out. It's beautiful. I love it. I get about four hours of good gameplay out of this. After 4 hours, that's when I start noticing, it's slugging. It's starting to slow down. It's getting sluggish. It doesn't work near as well as it should, and that's just because as the battery dies, the computer inside is not able to. It's not able to process as fast and as well as it should, which 4 hours for something that took me a day to build, and I'm using a 2400 milliamp battery in it. I'm not going to complain too much because, it works. It's pretty awesome, and I can, I've carried this around with me at school. You can see it, yellow means it's charging. And I've had people, just asking me, what is that? How did you build it? This and that. And, it's kind of fun to sit there and go, oh, yeah, well, this is what I did. This is how I did it. If you want, check out my YouTube channel, share my videos. It'll help me out a little bit because it puts a little extra cash in my pocket. Yeah, I don't get hardly any. You got to get thousands and thousands and thousands of views to get money out of it. So, once a year I might get a $100 check. That's it. But yeah, so those are the two builds that I've done this past 2 years. Not a whole lot. And actually one, I didn't want to put it this, I was debating this whole video whether I'd share this part with you guys. One other huge reason as to why I haven't done anything is last November, my kidneys shut down on me. As you can kind of see, the shirt's like, you know, really loose and whatnot. I used to weigh about 20 pounds more than I do now, but when my kidneys shut down on me, my body started eating all the protein, and because I was going to the gym every single day for, you know, an hour or two a day, I was like, you know, 165, 70 pounds of solid muscle. Now, I mean, you can look, I'm a scrawny dude as compared to what I used to be. You'd have to see a comparison of it. But yeah, because I went through the kidney failure, my body was eating itself up, and you know, I gained a ton of weight because I was retaining every ounce of fluid that came into my body. It was getting retained. Then whenever my kidneys kicked back on, just one day they decided, hey, we're going to work. I lost 60 pounds almost overnight. Went from 190 pounds of pudgy, like, springing leaks because there was so much water retention in my body, and then within a day or two I went from 190 to 130 pounds, and it, you know, I've been all over the place health wise since, what was it, November last year, and I think it was like May it was May this year that I finally got to where I was feeling, you know, like my old self almost again, except for the medication I was on that was keeping, you know, my kidneys from shutting down again. I can say that I'm off everything, not taking any medication for anything at all. So I'm back to, you know, I'm back to 100% health. I'm normal again. I can go back. I've been going back to the gym here the last couple of days. So, you know, but that's a whole lot of the reason why I haven't done any kind of build here this year. Actually, I finished that Game Boy last year now that I'm thinking about it. But yeah, that's why I haven't done any videos this year at all, because I physically couldn't do anything. I could barely make it to class. But like I said, I got better. Obviously, I wouldn't be sitting here if I hadn't gotten any better. But yeah, that's basically what's going on. So I am back. I'm going to be doing more videos. I might not be doing build videos anymore for a little while, just because I'm starting to go back to school again. Like I said, I just bought this house. I got a puppy that I got to contend with. She's actually outside playing because, you know, we were living in an apartment for the first few months I got her. So I bought the house. Now she's happy. She can go outside. She's constantly, you know, sitting at the door like, let me out, let me out, let me out. So she's outside playing right now. But some of my future videos, just to give you all a heads up, I hate using that word, just to give you guys, there we go, just to give you guys a little bit of a heads up. I started investing in gold and silver. So as I start getting more of that stuff in, I'm going to do some reveal videos, explain why I buy what I buy, you know, what I got, what leads me to buying this quantity over that quantity, this material over that material, this type of item over that other type of item. You know, I'll go through and explain a little bit about why I do what I do, and you know, and that's what my money has really been going towards these last few months. I've actually got a substantial stockpile, but that's for another video. So I appreciate those of you who have been with my channel since, you know, any time before this video. I really appreciate it. Stay tuned. I'll still do some build videos. I've got a couple of retro pies that I want to use. I've got a couple ideas for what I want to use them in. I just have to get moved into my house because I just got here last week, so I'm still getting moved in. Once I'm moved into my house and I got things set up and figured out how I'm going to do everything, I'm going to start doing videos, I'm not going to start doing, I'm going to continue doing those regardless, but I'm going to start doing some more, and belch number 2, excuse me. I'm going to start doing some more builds here and there. So yeah, you'll see those. You know, look forward to seeing more of that again. Sorry for letting this channel kind of take a lull the last year and a half, 2 years, but I'm back. I'm in good health again, and I'm going to try and, you know, bring you guys more content more often. It's not going to be a year before my next video. It's probably going to be an hour, because I'm going to do one for my gold and silver bit and let you guys take a look at that. So, appreciate you guys sticking around. Those of you who are new to the channel, welcome. Take a look at my previous videos, give them a like, subscribe, do whatever, you know, do what you want to do, and, you know, we'll see you around. Bye.